Welcome to our final project of communication and advocacy. This is group 4 and the members are, as you can see, Caroline, Nancy and Lydia. Our group decided to work with the Kenya National Commission for Human Rights, and it is basically the leading civil society in Kenya that advocates for the promotion and acknowledgement of human rights. According to Article 59 of the Kenyan Constitution 2010, the Commission was officially created in 2011 with the aim of watching over the promotion, protection, and adherence to all human rights in Kenya. Internationally, the Commission is recognized by the UN as an independent functioning national institution for human rights. And regionally, it is known as a member of the network of African national human rights institutions. It has two primary mandates. The first one is working as the official state watchdog, and then the second one is providing a reliable platform to establish ideal leadership concepts and influences to push the country towards a human rights state. Its core purpose is to provide redress, or rather compensation, to people whose rights have been violated in Kenya, and again, to research, analyze, and monitor compliance of different fields, rights and freedoms of everyone in Kenya. Its vision is to create a society that is free to enjoy human rights and freedoms, and its mission is to protect and enhance adherence to human rights and freedoms through practice of law. The objective of the Commission is to render its mission and vision in breeding a free, fair, and just society where the rights of everyone are respected without any discrimination or bias. Its overall goal is to heighten the quality and standards of enjoying rights and freedoms for everyone in Kenya. Then there are shorter-term goals that help to come up with the overall goal, as you can see. Then the motto of the Commission is human rights for everyone all the time. Its core values include accessibility, that addresses its readiness to respond when called upon, integrity, primarily for the internal employees, independence, especially when rendering justice and compensation to those whose rights have been violated, innovation, that focuses on embracing creativity, and then non-discrimination and excellence. The profile and characteristics of the Human Rights Commission. The Commission has divided its target audience into 8 major categories. The first one is the institutional reformists. These ones are characterized by political accountability and transitional justice. Then we have the researchers and compliers. These ones are characterized by interest in the Bill of Rights and compliance with the rights and freedoms of disabled communities in Kenya. Then we have the businesses. They are characterized by adherence to human rights and freedoms. And we have the legal servants, who are characterized by legal justice. We have the stakeholders and special interest groups are concerned about the rights of less fortunate people in society, for example, migrants and children. And they also advocate for the rights of intersex people and indigenous communities in Kenya. The internally displaced communities in the world today, these are basically people who have been forcefully evicted by the government when implementing unforeseen or inevitable projects. The public educators and trainers, mainly they provide civic education to communities in Kenya, for example, during general elections. The psychological and debriefing supporters advocate for the mental wellness of both the representative and the audience when disseminating concepts such that they can be accountable. The policy program of Kenya. In Kenya, the older people's rights and freedoms are guaranteed and protected by Article 57 of the Kenyan Constitution, and it states, as you can see, They are also protected by the Commission's objective that states to foster ideal collaboration and partnership among various stakeholders to allow effective adherence to the rights and freedoms of older people in the private and public sectors of the economy. Despite the Commission's policies and government policies, the idea that older people are supposed to live free from any form of abuse seems to be a mere dream, because it is worsening day by day. Despite the provisions of Article 57, there are no sign of policies and projects that have been put up to care for older adults population. Most of this burden is left to immediate family members and religious organizations. Kenya has a total of 16 home care facilities for older adults, most of which are run and facilitated by religious organizations. Consequently, there are unsustainable living standards because many middle-income households are spending massively on sustaining their older loved ones. It is even worse for older adults with disabilities since they are stereotyped. They fall victims of abuse from younger generations. Factors that led to the success of the strategies. The first one was partnering with appropriate influencers. Since influences can emanate from the most trending aspects of society. For example, due to COVID-19 restrictions, most businesses shifted their work online. So influencers can in the same way make acknowledging the rights and freedoms of older persons in the world a public opinion and thus attract action from the public. And then another factor is global and local recognition and acknowledgement of older person. Globally, for example, the World Health Organization has discouraged stereotypes against aging, and locally, the Article 57, of course, mandates older people to have the right to live in dignity, free from prejudice in the form of abuse, the right to access reasonable health care provided by state and family, and finally, the right to take part in development affairs in society. These are signs of progress in the right direction in repairing the badly portrayed image of older adults in society. The reasons for failure: the unsustainable burden of family members, as mentioned earlier. The older people are left to their immediate families, and some of them are not able to sustain their needs. Then we also have prevalence of discriminatory old age practices. For example, financial institutions tighten loans and credit options when lending older people, and then many parastatals have mandated their retiring age at 60 years or slightly above that. That is discriminating against the older people. The lessons learned, the first one is Kenya lacks a solid insurance plan for older adults. And then another lesson learned is that Kenya needs to invest more in training and education of older adults' needs. There's need for Kenya to channel more of civil and healthcare resources towards educating society about the needs of older persons. And they can do this by training, hiring, and equipping competent caregivers and social workers with appropriate resources to help improve living standards of older adults. There is also need to give more attention to older adults with special psychological needs, such as dementia. The physically challenged should be included in critical decision-making processes for their overall well-being. The plan for the Commission on Older Adults in Kenya. The concern is the average age bracket of Kenyans is currently 20 to 24. Therefore, a huge number of seniors in the country go unnoticed in terms of national resources allocation. This has been one of the biggest challenges that the Commission has faced over the last decade. The current concern about all the adults' rights and freedoms in Kenya today is that there is generally a negative perception about aging in Kenya, as many associate it with physical helplessness, frequent sicknesses, and overall suffering. Many younger people view aging as a burden due to the care that comes with caring for the old. It is even worse for families that are not in a position to avail important healthcare services that seniors deserve. The neglect and abuses that older adults in Kenya face from community members, close family members, and younger people also violate their rights and freedoms. Seniors in Kenya also face difficulty in accessing reliable healthcare facilities and services. Then communication solutions to the older adult situation in Kenya. There is need for mass education on the value of adhering to the rights and freedoms of older people in the world today. And then using mass media can help. Since mass media reaches out to a larger audience, it can be helpful in getting the message to the people. Then we also have social media that can be used to make the rights and freedoms of older persons a trending issue, and they will eventually realize the importance of older people in society. The stakeholder identification. There is need for the CEO of the Commission to liaise with influential stakeholders to instill early saving skills for the current generation in all fields of life. And to achieve this, the CEO should work to end the prevalent damaging stereotypes about old people. And then during implementation phase of the proposed agent of desirable change in the Commission, the CEO should exhibit excellent leadership skills and techniques by installing a better working culture, a positive environment, and improving the overall productivity. The CEO can also create coalitions and alliances with influential stakeholders in the economic sector in order to broaden the chances of older adults accessing loans, since this was highlighted as one of the violations against the older adults. The strategies to undertake advocacy activities on concern over older people. Number one, we have creating awareness about negative implied biases among older adult communities. And then the best practices. Number one is switching perspectives. The best practice that we can adopt as a society is to switch perspectives. And this entails putting oneself in the shoe of the individual being harassed or bullied. All that is needed to implement the perspective of switching sides is adjusting your mentality when approaching old age topics, environments, or trending issues. Innovative approaches include exhibiting flexibility in embracing new image of old age. Theory of change, making contact. The best way to learn how it really feels to be part of the seniors community in the world today is by making direct contact through one-on-one interactions with them. And then secondly, we can do this by claiming a highly privileged seat. The best way to be an agent of positive change is to be the change that you hope to witness in the world. For older adults, there is no better way than to advocate for better and stricter adherence to our rights and freedoms than to directly get involved with the processes. In this case, getting the critical decision-making processes that involve allocating healthcare resources, easing loan limitations on older adults, and strategies to help erase negative stereotypes will be a clear sign of claiming a seat of policymakers table. Thank you.